Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Saturday, May 7th, 2016 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for today is I show up for my worth. And today we're coming down from that powerful new moon. And you know, it's one of those things, I get asked this a lot. If you don't set intentions with the new moon, can you still do that? And basically, the new moon time is really powerful because the sun and the moon are in alignment, kind of, lending their light, lending their planetary power to our intentions. But as the moon starts to build into her fullness, it's still a beautiful time. You're still nurturing and nourishing those intentions. So if other intentions come up, by all means set them. It's not just like the full moon and it's over. It's just that's a power peak, but the energy still keeps building. So, continue to work with that energy. Show up for yourself. And today we've got some interesting things going on. We have the sun today, Trine Pluto. So still working with this grand trine earth energy. And sun in Taurus, we've been working on our worth. We really have been shedding layers of that, greasy kind of gopher guts. That's what's popping into my head. The things that we've heard over the years about our worth, about who we are. We've been shedding that energy and instead finding the core of light, the core of who we really are within. And I think ultimately this trine with Pluto, this sun trine Pluto energy at 17 degrees, which is an 8, asking us to show up, is doing just that, asking us to show up for our own worth and change how we've perceived the world perceiving us. We've been perceiving the world perceiving us as we've been told that we are by our parents, by our friends, our lovers, our coworkers, by our empathic nature, picking up others' thoughts about us. So we've kind of let ourselves be dictated by that. And this is asking us, Pluto's that transformation energy, to step in our power and show up for ourselves in a new way. Change that inner landscape from always reflecting other people's thoughts into instead reflecting the core of your light, who you really are. And I'll show you the cards, and the cards go so well with this. The other song that popped into my head with this, by the way, was the song Gold on the Ceiling by the Black Keys. They're trying to get your gold on the ceiling. You are golden. So really recognize your light. It keeps coming back to your light. We have the moon shifting into Gemini. And so Gemini, speaking of showing up for yourself and showing up for your worth, Gemini energy is so interesting. I'm a Gemini rising, so I recognize this in myself so much. Gemini energy can turn us all into a chameleon. When the moon's in Gemini, we're like, yeah, me too, let me twin you. And that's cool, like twin people. But don't lose yourself. Don't lose your light in creating that harmony. Do what feels good for you, but don't do it at the sacrifice of your golden light, your inner core being, your inner sun. We then have later in the evening the moon opposite Mars. And this is kind of interesting because the moon is our emotions and Mars can kind of get emotional. Mars emotion is like that passion, aggression energy. So if you're having fun, this could bring even more fun. And if you're not having fun, this could bring some temper tantrums. So again, this is why you've got to really be true to your core. Because if you notice yourself like stamping your foot a little bit with the moon opposite Mars, if you're feeling that little temper tantrum-y energy coming up, that means you're not honoring yourself. You're not 100% honoring your needs, your desire. So it's like, how can you find that balance? This connection's happening at 6 degrees, asking us to find balance. So find your balance in that. The last thing that I want to mention is really interesting, and I think I'm going to show you the cards with this. We've got Juno and Lilith conjunct in Scorpio at 4 degrees. So 4 degrees is that revolution, evolution, shift degree. And cards that I pulled, let's start with these in reverse. The Lovers and Innocence card. And this really goes back to the gold on the ceiling and finding your worth within yourself. But I think this really speaks too for people who are in long-term relationships, marriages. Juno can really represent long-term relationship, marriage energy in the chart. And with Lilith there is an element of really needing to be one unto yourself, be true to yourself in these long-term marriage relationships. Don't substitute your light for somebody else's. This is the Innocence card, the Sun card, and this is the card of knowing your light, knowing who you are, knowing your godliness, knowing your divinity. And with the Lovers, retrograde, reversed, it's saying don't sacrifice who you are for these outside relationships. There's a way to find that balance. There's a way to find that harmony. You know, we find our worth so much in other people. And ultimately, this is what it leads to. Suppression and sorrow, because nobody can fill those voids in you. It's not meant to be filled from others outside. It's meant to be filled with your own golden light. It's meant to be filled with you, your vivaciousness, your vitality. And we've all been taught to look outside, and it's just this Taurus energy is asking us to shift. And one of the best things, I was like, well, how do we shift this? Silence. Connect into you. Ask yourself, do the who am I? This is how you show up for yourself. And that's the overall message today. It's just showing up for yourself, not feeding into those old patterns. And if you do, don't beat yourself up about it. Recognize it and be like, oh, I see. I'm getting my worth from this person being like, oh, you're beautiful, or oh, you're so talented, or you're so witty. And you're like, well, it's cool that they think that, but man, I really like me when I'm like this. And then feed into that energy and just see how that feels when you are true to you, because that's what's really important. That is what you came here to do, is be you. So that's it for today. Book a reading if you want to dive deeper into your chart, and I will see you tomorrow. Namaste.